That's sort of why I was like, yeah, let's go there. It's fun, seems to me.
Hello, everybody. Welcome. Hello. How's it going? Nice to have you here live at HQ. I'm going to take off my mask while we're talking, but otherwise we'd like people to keep masks on when they're in the building. Checking on audio for the stream. We got about 12 or 13 people on the stream when I checked, so just saying words and hopefully you can hear them okay. People on the stream, hit us up in the chat if it sounds good. So we usually do a really bad job of streaming our big volunteer meetings, but this event is an annual event when we are getting ready to really dive into production on one of our big kind of signature shows. This show has had an extra long gestation period, so it's going to come out really strong and very, it's going to be like a huge baby when it comes out. So yeah, this show was pitched in way back in, I think 2018, kind of as a kind of an update of one of our original shows called Grundlehammer, way back in the day. So it's a return to a fantasy universe, but it is also a very different type of fantasy show than your Game of Thrones and your kind of silly Germanic medieval universe. It's equally silly, but it's going to be a big, insane, really awesome show. And we would love to have all of you involved. Many of the people here in the room are already working on the show, involved as designers. Some of you I've seen before and involved many other shows and love to show up and be excellent hands on our shows. And there's at least a handful of people here who I don't know, and I would love for you to find a space inside this production. It can be hard to find a space inside of Bros when you first start out, but just start showing up, raise your hand, get in touch with myself or any of the other wonderful people that you'll meet here tonight, and we'd love to have you involved. It's going to be a badass rock opera. It goes up May 13th at Zion Church of Baltimore, which is a venue that we know very well, and we're excited to return to. Is that enough stuff? What did I forget? Oh, welcome to Bros headquarters. We're here at 3107 Greenmount Avenue. We're going to start leaving the front open a little more frequently, but a lot of times people are entering through the back, so if you are here on like a Tuesday night for a build or something, usually people park in the parking lot that's on Old York Road right behind the building, and hit the buzzer on the back door to enter the building, which is totally a fine way to get in. Other stuff about Bros HQ, there's a fridge over there. It has water, seltzer, soda, and beer in it. You're welcome to any of those things. We try to provide them for free, but if you drink some beverages and want to throw in, there's a little dollar, drop a buck in on the left of the fridge. Bathroom is straight back that way on the left. Other stuff, you'll find out. Lots of secrets and beautiful. I'm one of the founders. I'm very happy that I'm not running the rest of the meeting. I'm the passive
Hey, my name is Megan. I'm the volunteer director for Bros, and we have a little multiple choice question here for everyone. What is Bros? A, a cult. B, a passionate community of artists who create unforgettable experiences through live original rock theater. C, a really big cult. Or D, other. What do you guys think?
Yeah.
Do you want to go to the next slide here? Free beers for all the winners. A passionate community of artists who create unforgettable experiences through live original rock theater. Next slide. So if you're new to Bros, or if you're a Bro veteran, how can you learn about Bros? A, hang out with current Bros, use Slack, attend build nights and volunteer. B, read the Bro manual. C, hit up a frat party. Or D, explore the Bros intranet.
A?
B.
A and D.
D?
Yeah, A and D. I mean, you might be able to learn something at a frat party too, I'm not sure.
We accept all types.
Yeah, absolutely. Has anyone here actually read the Bro Manual? Awesome. BaltimoreRockOpera.org/Bro Manual. Can anyone tell us what's in the Bro Manual?
Some things about communicating, and if you have an issue, like the chain of events to go to is what I remembered, and that's what stuck out the most.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you.
Make
There's
yourself
lots.
useful, find things to do.
Yeah, so it's kind of our main resource for volunteers, and it has all kinds of different information about bros and how we work together. A little bit of important information that's really important to us as staff members, and also we need this to be important to all of our volunteers as well. Bros has a non-discrimination policy. If someone is excited and able to be here, we want them to be here, and we won't turn them away for any sort of discriminatory reasons. Bros has a zero tolerance policy for harassment. This includes all forms of sexual harassment and takes a broader approach to other forms of harassment as well. Just zero tolerance. We're not having that in our space because we can't make great art that way. And finally, Bros has Safer Spaces trained leaders, and they are at all of our public-facing events. And there are people that you can go to or other people can go to if an issue arises. Next slide. We hope everyone has a really awesome, face-melting time at Bros, but also we know that sometimes conflicts and concerns can arise. And we have the concern resolution path, which is just a very structured way that everyone has access to addressing their issues. The very first level is we ask that you just address the issue with the other person. This is often the fastest way to get something done and involves sort of the least number of people. If that's not comfortable for you, or you try that and it doesn't work, you can go to level 2. For this show, level 2 is Max and Liz, who is live streaming in today. Max is the production manager, and Liz is the assistant stage manager for this show, and they can help you. If you try that and it doesn't work, or that's not a safe option for you, you can go down to level 3, which is myself, and then our new production director, Jamar, who hopefully all of you will get to meet sometime soon. Again, if you try that and it doesn't work, or that's not a safe option, you move down to level 4, which is Claire, one of our board members, and Aaron, our executive director. We also have a comment box. Right over there by the costume shop is our in real life comment box. And BaltimoreRockOpera.org/comment is an electronic version of it. This is a great option if you have something you want to say that needs to be anonymous. Next slide. Oh, this is a tricky one. Which of these are not bromandments? Be positive. Come prepared. No floaters. Find a role and see it through. Help your fellow bro. Show is God, and all taxes theft. Not sure. Okay, Aaron.
Those are still good rules, though.
They are, yeah. They just haven't quite made it into the top 5 yet. So the bromandments are be positive, come prepared, find your role and see it through, help your fellow bro, and show is God. Show is God is probably our most confusing bromandment. This is more helping people think of the audience experience as our main goal of all of us working together, and maybe taking away your ego or someone else's ego and the little piece of the show that you're working on. It doesn't mean you should sacrifice yourself to the show or anything like that. It's more just really keeping us all focused on our goal together. Bros has lots of ways we like to talk to people. We have the No Floaters volunteer newsletter. If you sign up to be a volunteer with Bros, we'll automatically sign you up. You can opt out at any time, but then you wouldn't know about awesome stuff like this. Department email lists. These are specific for different interests, props, costume sets, things like that. And this gives you sort of general open calls when we're looking for people to help with things. More show-specific things are on Slack. This is an electronic platform. You can chat, do other things on there, share documents. And then we also have a Facebook page called Bros Book that we can add you to if you're interested. Next slide. COVID. Our COVID policy for the show. We're asking, we do have in the Glitterus shared drive, Google Drive, we have all of this written out. We're asking all of the core members of the show, department leads, staff members, everyone like that, to be vaccinated and have a booster shot. We're asking that when you're in HQ that you wear a mask most of the time. If you're exposed or experience any symptoms, we ask that you follow CDC guidelines before coming back to the space. And also, we just want you to know that, like, we're doing a show, and we're going to find a way to get there, and we might have to change our course along the way, but we'll let you know of any changes as they come up. Also, I promise, the rest of this is way more fun and has pictures. How does Bros benefit from volunteer hour tracking? Helps with grant, some funding, you earn perks. For this show, you'll get a poster, also a patch or a pin. We're still working it out. And if you log an amazing 25 hours for the show, you get a super gold view pin, and you'll be the envy of all your friends. We love red tape and find pleasure in wasting your time.
Not true.
Or we
Not
love that
true.
your hour-long print-offs. I have no idea what the hippogriff means, but it's not your hours. You can log your hours at baltimorerocopera.org/hours, and you can also check with your department lead about how they want to handle hours tracking. So, next is Peter.
Yay, Greg.
Hey, Peter.
Hi, I'm Peter.
Hello, Peter.
Hi, Peter.
I am the, my pronouns, by the way, in case you really give a shit, are he, him, and his. But I'll answer to anything, really, as long as you don't call me late for dinner. I am the Bros Development Director, and that means that my job is to ask for shit and say thank you afterwards, even if I don't get what I'm asking for. Now, you all have come here and you've given a donation. You're donating your time, your talent, and your energy. So thank you all very, very much. That's the most important thing I have to say tonight. Now, Bros, among other things, is a not-for-profit theater organization. And like every other theater, live theater that is, in Baltimore, that means that if you sell every single ticket to every single performance for the entire season, you earn half the income that you need to operate the theater. 50% at best. That's what that means. Now, development, which is part of my title, what that equals is fundraising. And I don't mean the bastardization of one word. I mean two words. Fundraising. Because what I do is raise funds. And that's a very, very tricky thing to do. Now, I might ask, and I'm going to ask, does anyone know whose responsibility it is to raise funds for Bros? Yes, it is my responsibility. Do any other ideas?
Everyone?
There it is! Everyone! It's Aaron's responsibility. It's Megan's responsibility. It's the entire staff. It's the audience. It's the board of directors. And it's the volunteers. Because it ain't gonna happen without a concerted group effort, just like everything at Bros. Now, so eventually, all of you are going to be asked, probably by me, for some money. You can say no. That's fine. Just think about Nancy Reagan. Just say no. It's fine. No one's going to hold it against you. You will not be eliminated from casting. You will not be eliminated from throwing your hat in for a leadership position. You will not be turned down for entering a pitch in the pitch party. Nothing. There is no consequence. Just say no. I promise I will not be offended in the least bit. It happens. Okay, there are lots of ways, however, to give donations to Bros. Check out the website. There are plenty of things you can do. And if you don't find something that engages you, give me a shout. Send up a flare. I'm happy to talk about accommodating all kinds of things. And not all of it is giving your own money. Some of it is just supporting the campaigns. We happen to have, we're coming up into 2 brand new campaigns, sponsorship campaigns for business sponsorships, corporate sponsorships. They are for Glitterus specifically, as well as for the return of Swanktacular, which this is a big deal. This is the first public announcement, as a matter of fact. It will be on June 24th at Zion Church, and that's a Saturday. So mark down the date, because tickets are going to sell fast. How you can help with these sponsorships is if you know a business that's local, that might be engaged with Bros, and I really want you to pick out those that you have a contact at. Because I'm not going to ask you to ask them. I'm happy to ask them. That's my job. But I need a person to ask, because people give money to people, and vice versa. It just doesn't work. I can't call up Avon and say, hey, we need you to take out $1,000 sponsorship for this show, because it focuses a lot on women. Nobody's going to take that call. But if I know that Amanda knows the owner of the sex shop down the road on Greenmount Avenue, and his name is Bob, then I can go in and say, hey, Bob, Amanda suggested I give you a shout. And that gets me in the door. That and my credit card. The other thing I'm going to ask you tonight is, if you are so disposed to give a donation to Bros, please think about the company that you work for, because a lot of companies have matching gift programs, and that can double the impact of your donation for the organization. That's a great thing. It also opens a door into a new possible giving source. So I've given you everything I've got. I just have one little last question. Could we just take a quick poll? There's a Netflix series called Bridgerton that I've never heard of. Who in here has heard of it? Raise your hand. Who's a fan?
Just the one hot guy.
Ah!
The show is okay, but the hot guy was really good.
Thank you for your time. Thank you for your energy. Thank you for your talent. My cards are right here. Please feel free to take one. They have the best contact information. Thank you all.
Their production manager, Max.
Hi guys.
Hey, Max.
Hi. My name is Max Marshall. I'm the production manager. Can we bump this to the next slide? There we go. Okay, it doesn't have much, but it has some things. Okay, so we're doing a show, and it's very exciting. I'm super happy to be a part of it, and I'm so happy to see all of you here. We open on May 13th. We run that weekend, the following weekend, the weekend after that, and then at the beginning of June. So those are all the dates. You don't have to memorize them if you don't want to, but they are there. We're performing at Zion Church of the City of Baltimore. We talked about that earlier. It's a great venue. I'm super excited to see it. If you ever need to contact me, which you may if you work on this production, all my contact info is there. We do use a Google Drive and Slack for this whole production. Depending on what capacity you're working on the show, you'll at least get viewing access, and you'll be able to see everything that everyone is working on. Feel free to poke around in there. That's where everything is loaded in terms of like design concepts, my paperwork, and stuff like that. Feel free to look at it, and you might have stuff to do in there. And if you ever have any questions about using the Google Drive, please let me know. I'd rather us talk about it and get past it rather than there be like huge gaps in communication because there's questions about the software. And then Slack. Slack is a super fun little app. You can get it on your phone or your computer. Everyone should have it by March 1st if you're working on the show. That is going to end up being the primary way we all communicate. There's going to be different channels for all that production. There are for most of them already, as well as like stuff for like the building itself here. If you have any questions about getting invited to it or using it, please let me know. I'm happy to download it for you and like sign you up for everything, and you just have to open it. But we do need to be using that because that will be the way that we all keep in contact with each other. Cool. I don't have like any big flashy things for this, but I wanted you all to see me and meet me, and I'm super excited to have all of you here, and let's put on a great show. Thanks.
Oh, yay.
Our fabulous director, Amanda.
Hey, everybody. My name is Amanda, in case you didn't get it. So, what the hell is a glitterus? We're going to learn now. So, glitterus is the most rockin', most epic of dragons to have ever existed. And she has called upon 5 mystics to gather her eggs, which she has left for them to find, and bring them together and stop a cataclysm of epic proportions. And so throughout this, we battled the evil Lord Vin, brought to life by the lovely Shoshana Davidoff, who is here this evening, who has killed all of the dragons and stolen their magic for his own. So he's the reason all of this crazy, they're the reason this crazy shit's happening in the first place. And it's a feel-good show. Believe it, there's a happy ending. There's like friendship and camaraderie and collaboration and radical love and self-forgiveness and like learning new things and allowing them to affect how you see the world and realizing that saving the world isn't something that any one person can do on their own. It's going to take fucking all of us. So that is a summary, quick and dirty, of what the show is about. If you know anybody who plays the keyboards, we are still looking for a person. So, but I now get to hand it over to the lovely leads who will be telling you how you can help this awesome show come to life and have some fucking fun with us, because that's what we're here for. We're here to create epic shit and have fun while doing it. So I don't know who's next, but that's it for me. Yeah, question?
Is there a climax?
There is. Don't worry. We're going to hit that G note, baby. Who's next? Megan? Excellent. Max.
I don't know what that picture's from, but I liked it. Hi, I'm Kate Smith-Morse.
Max Doubling.
And then
And we're also going to have a scenic artist who is Anne Palanek. Unfortunately, she couldn't be here with us tonight, but that's okay, because she's going to be involved too. It's going to be great. Oh my gosh, everything's going to be awesome. So next slide. Okay, so we had a bunch of different inspirations for the set design. Like, I don't know if anyone ever read Mercer Meyer when they were a kid, but like Mercer Meyer's fairy tale illustrations, like a lot of like illuminated manuscripts and like the animation from A Secret of Kell, like medieval kind of designs and patterns and whatnot. Funnily enough, the animation of Terry Gilliam and Monty Python, and also just like the aesthetic of like classic puppet theater. So it all kind of came together to create what we're going to create. Next slide. So this is the set design. This is one of the set designs because there are a number of different settings. And how we are going to make them come to life is we will have a base setup, and then kind of like in elementary school theater, we're going to have like movable set pieces that come on and off, like trees and rocks and bushes and things like that, to create each different setting. And some of the actors will interact with those in different ways, and it'll be super cool. And it also means that like we can just have them set off to the side and not take up a bunch of wing space at Zion, which is limited if you have worked at Zion before. So this setup, for instance, is the wilderness. One of the wildernesses. There are a few. If you look up top of the platform to stage right, you see that there is nothing. That is because that is where the band is gonna go, which is gonna be fucking epic. And we are working closely with the sound team to make sure that happens in a way that doesn't like make everything go terrible. It's gonna be awesome. I'm super excited. We're all super excited. And like anything, one of the things that is cool about this is that anything that doesn't have like, you know, grass painted on it or like stone or whatever on the backside of it or like the edge of it or whatever all gets patterning, which is one of the reasons why having a scenic artist is so important and why we're going to be asking you guys to come and help us paint things. So yeah, so this is kind of the basic layout of it, and it's going to be awesome.
So this is what the theater space at Zion looks like by default. You can see, you know, in many ways this is an aesthetic that is very close to what we're looking to play with for the look of this particular show. But likewise, you know, as mentioned, it's a space that is actually fairly small on the built-in stage and doesn't have a ton of wing space, so we're opting to build out from it in a lot of ways and try to give our cast and our production a little bit more space to work with. Next slide. This is more or less what it looks like from above. This is the entire space, so this includes what we'll be using for the house, for the audience space as well. Next slide. This is our SketchUp plan, so just a more kind of structured geometric version of the same thing, gives you a sense of the scale. The one thing this does show, in addition, is we do have a couple of wagons that we're going to be using for some of the largest pieces that people are interacting with the most directly. Things like Vin's throne room, where we want to have this big, impressive throne that's kind of raised up and is a little bit, you know, over the top and a little bit kind of over dramatic to give you a sense of what this character is like. But we're going to be doing those as big movable pieces that'll be something that we can use our kind of limited wing space to hide or reverse when we're not using them.
The other wagon is Zet's Cape.
Yep.
Who's Zet? Come to Zet and find out.
One thing that's a little bit unusual about the position we're in, we actually got a little way into building some of these platforms 2 years ago. So we got at least a little bit of a start. We have some material we're going to work with. One of our first things in the next couple of weeks is going to be to inventory all that, figure out what we need to do differently now that we've revised the design a bit, and what we can make use of again. Next slide. So what do we need and who do we need to help us do all this? Really, there's a number of things that are relatively specific, and there's a number of things that are pretty open-ended. There's some particular skill sets that we're definitely looking for help on. We're going to want people who are up for some fairly detailed painting and have a little bit of familiarity and some comfort there. We're gonna, it's great if we can get people who have done carpentry before. It's great if we can get people who've done some of these other tasks before. But there's also plenty of stuff we're gonna need to do that nobody's really an expert in. Chances are, foam carving, it's the sort of thing that we're always going to be improvising a little bit. We're always going to be figuring out what kind of materials we can use, what's going to look good at the scale that we're working and at the distance that people are seeing it, and all that sort of thing. So it's very much going to be a process, and we're looking to have a lot of people on board and a lot of people getting to be a part of that.
So a couple things we're looking for in specific. We are looking for a sets assistant. What this entails is you would be a primary part of the set of the it'll be the Four Musketeers. But you won't have the kind of like full-on serious commitment that like me, Max, and Anne have. You'll be there to like assist us on build nights and like stuff like that. So if you're like, hey, like I think being a department leader sounds kind of cool, but like I've never done that before. I don't know how I would feel about it. Maybe apply to be a sets assistant and like get a taste for what it's like. One really fun volunteer that we need, or two volunteers, we need people who like going thrifting. Because we need to get a bunch of small tables. We need to maybe find a throne, but maybe we'll build the throne, and we need to find a chaise lounge. And so this is going to take a lot of like surfing Craigslist, like going to yard sales, going to thrift stores, and like taking pictures of things and sending them to us, and being like, hey, does this look good? Do you want me to buy this? And like we'll reimburse you, et cetera, et cetera. So like we kind of want to make that a designated position so that that person doesn't have to worry about showing up to bills and whatnot. Like they are doing their own like super important thing. So if that sounds like something that would be cool to you, like definitely talk to us. And just to, I don't want to scare people away from the idea of coming and doing painting, because like if you've seen like illuminated manuscripts and stuff, it's very detailed, but like once the lines are in, it's kind of just filling in lines. So even if you're like, oh, like I can like apply paint to a canvas, but like I'm not a painter, like that's fine. If you can paint within lines, like show up. We will love to have you.
Woo! Color by numbers, baby.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah. And then obviously like we need creativity and enthusiasm and people who are just willing to learn any of the random stuff we throw at you. Yes.
Do you have a Google sheet, a prop list, or anything of the items that you're looking for, so that possibly like I can't do the thrifting mega troll, but like my kids love to go to the thrift store, so if I'm out and I could look up a thing and see what you still need,
we can definitely put that together. Like
that would be really helpful.
That is not a problem at all. We would be happy to put that together.
And it's pretty common for us to put that in No Floaters, the kind of the weekly newsletter. So you just keep an eye on that. Usually we'll just try to keep updating it as once they get their list together. We'll just say, oh, at the bottom, always like a want list is there. That's pretty common during this couple of months.
So yeah. Next slide.
So this is our rough build schedule so far. We're going to fill in more detail as we get a little closer. At the moment, I'm looking to do a kind of default 2 weeknight builds. And that's going to be, certainly in the short term, or once we get underway, a lot of that is going to be building platforms. It's going to be that level of kind of carpentry and those sort of base level things that are mostly going to be underlying the other parts of the sets.
And then I'm going to be doing Saturdays. I have a crazy work schedule where I have to be up at 4 a.m. every day. So like I can't work late weeknights. I will be coming in every other Monday, starting a bit earlier in the day and working till like 7 or so. So if there's anyone who has like some daytime availability but not nighttime availability, like that would be a great time for you to show up and like help out with stuff. And then I'm also going to be doing Saturday afternoons for people who have commitments during the week. And I'm going to be focusing more on like the like making the flat trees that stand up and stuff like that. So stuff you're working with me won't necessarily be as carpentry intensive. So like if that's something that you're like, oh, I don't know about that, like show up to my workshop and like we'll find something for you to do, because there's all kinds of things to do.
And our plan for right now is to be sending out a weekly kind of summary email of the sorts of stuff we expect to be doing, and then on the day we'll send out a Slack reminder that might get into a little bit more detail on what's on the docket for that day in particular. Chances are pretty good that we're going to end up adding some more time to the schedule once the show gets really close. You know, the hope is that we can get as far ahead as possible sooner than that, so that we don't really have to crunch when it gets close. But a lot of this is going to take shape as the schedule moves along.
Next slide.
So I want to talk a little bit about load-in as well. This is something that really applies to a lot of departments, but I wanted to mention it from the sets perspective in particular. This is something where if you have the kind of schedule where you can't necessarily put in recurring time very easily, but you can potentially sort of clear the decks for a particular day, it's really helpful to us if we can just get a lot of hands to help us get everything into the building. Zion is a great space in a lot of ways. It is kind of a pain to get things into the building. There is an elevator, it's not very big. There are certain things that we just have to carry up the stairs. And if we can get a lot of hands on it, we've learned some lessons doing this before, we've got a pretty good system, but it really helps if we can just get a lot of people working on it. And you know, this is going to involve big platforms and furniture, but it's also going to involve little delicate things and little complicated fiddly bits. So we can definitely use all the help we can get for that. So just mostly putting it up here to get some to get the dates out there and be aware. Another thing about that is because we do have about 2 weeks of installation time, you know, we try to get through as much as we can early on in that process so that the stage at least is ready for the cast to start rehearsing on even prior to the actual tech week. That's something where we might start to ask around as that gets close to see who might have some daytime availability to help us with that install process.
And oh, I was just gonna say, and when we say install, so because like it's, you know, all like the biggest thing we can bring into the building is what we can fit through a regular size door. As you can imagine from the set design you just saw, like we're gonna be having to put a lot of stuff together and do a lot of stuff at Zion. So if you don't have regular time throughout like the build time, but could really commit to some time, especially in the evenings during those like 2 weeks. Is it 2 weeks? Like that's super, super helpful because more hands makes things go faster. Next slide. Okay, that's not us. All right. This is what I look like. Hi.
Next up is Justin the Preacher.
Creatures. Hi everyone. Hi internet people. So
I'd just like to
creatures.
confirm that the internet is still here.
Yay, internet! Good job.
The chat is going nuts. If y'all want to.
You should see them. They're all beautiful. As you are, internet people. Creatures. Creatures are not quite actors. They're not quite props. So they're their own separate category. We have lots of them for the show. Next slide, please. We have, we're starting the show with some ribbon dancers who are going to have dragon heads that are going to be paper craft. We have baby goblins, which are little baby birds. Actually, they're pretty big baby birds. We'll get to that. We've got some trolls playing with eggs. We've got an exoskeleton suit, mech suit with an egg theme. And we also have Zeth, which everyone is very interested in. I think we'll keep Zeth a mystery. So come out and see Zeth. And we're making eggs. Which came first, the dragon or the egg? Anyone? Dragon. Dragon had come out of an egg, so you're wrong. Here's a quick prototype of a dragon egg that I made. It does neat things.
Yeah! Yes, for already having prototypes.
But we have. We're making 5 dragon eggs. We're making 2 gobbly eggs. Next slide, please. Yes. We are making 2 full-size eggs for people. So now. Hopefully they come out that cute. Next slide. Yeah, lots of little projects, lots of little things that you can do for a limited time. We're looking to do things remotely to keep everyone safe. A lot of people are not ready to come out yet, and I agree. So we're going to be some stuff to take home to work with. We're going to be doing some workshops here. All sorts of materials. We're going to be working with paper, fiberglass, paper mache, fabric, 3D printing, neofixers, all of the LED things I've been playing with. And if you'd like to try something, we'll like to try it with you. Creatures.
Yeah. Dragon, dragon,
Hello, everyone. Sam.
Hi, Sam.
I've been chosen to lead the dragon team, and I need y'all's help with what is this?
A bearded dragon.
Okay. Next slide, please, Aaron. It's not a dragon. Next slide, Aaron, please. What's this one?
Lizard.
Which is
A dragon.
not a dragon. All right, last one.
This is hard.
What's this one?
Iguana dragon.
Dragon.
No. Did I hear water dragon?
Water dragon.
Which is also not a dragon. So on the dragon team, we are not building lizards. We are only building dragons, which is technically a wyvern.
Can we get Caesar?
Don't tell anyone. Don't tell the press.
A lot of work has been done back in the early 2020s, and we're pulling from that and making some changes to make it work in our modern era. And so this is just like a peek of what Glitterus is going to look like. We got a good palette going. We got a maquette for the head. On stage, we're going to have the head, the neck. We're going to have a big old wing and an unfurling tail. And they're all going to come together to really sell the scale of the full Glitterus. Next slide, please. So join the dragon team. About us already on the team, we are puppetry pros, interdisciplinary sculptors, we're mechatronic makers, palette explorers, and casual dragon enjoyers. And for what we're looking for in our volunteers, it is folks who are ready to build in late March, artistically inclined or mechanically inclined, but essentially good at glue, and chill but diligent. So the projects, we want Glitterus to be impactful and beautiful and live up to being the namesake of the musical. So we're going hard, and we'd like you to as well. So
Going hard.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So what do we do for props? So we're gonna quickly just show. Mike doesn't have a presentation prep. Is that right? Right. There's no props stuff. So Mike Bull is an experienced maker with Bros. Mike Bull Classic. He has done a ton of amazing props, such as that big Mama Nog eyeball that's right over there. The Tenebrum Organum from Incredibly Dead, which was this really cool machine. And we're just going to show off some of the props designs so that you all can get a taste of Mike's style here. Here we go. Let's full screen it, maybe. Figuring this out. We've got a big sword that Bridget forges from chains with her voice. That's pretty cool. Um, a couple of things for the artist Balfeo. Various accoutrements for the mystics, such as a nice cool wand staff for Ketia, maybe a braided whip with leaf. Like pieces that really extend the characters of the 5 main mystic characters. They each have a different magic power, so Mike's going to be part of creating those. Ooh, I forgot the one. Lots of mining tools for the residents of the walled city. Some cool stuff for Vin, such as a jewel-encrusted gold scepter. And looks like some implements of death.
Giant scissors. Death by scissoring!
Death by scissors. Forgot about that. Couldn't get it till now.
Sorry.
And maybe the Cygnus is still on there. I don't actually know. I'm worried that I'm showing 2020 props, so I'm just gonna stop. But Mike Bull's awesome, great to work with, and probably a good candidate for take-home projects since Mike Bull lives in PA. So if anybody's interested in getting involved in the prop team, there's a spot for that in the sign-ups, which we'll tell you about at the end.
Woo.
A lot of cool stuff there.
Way to go, Mike! Woo.
Costumes video. Okay, now I have to,
Next up is
I have
costumes.
to fumble around here.
EG made us a video that we can watch.
Let's face it, the past 2 years have been kinda... Maybe you've even gotten a little... There's been more than enough of that. What if you broke out of your confines? Laid down your burden? Tried something different? It means rebirth, smarty pants. Maybe you need a change of perspective. Take a leap of faith and head on down to the Bros Costume Department. At Bros, you can escape your routine, explore novel ideas and techniques, make new friends, be part of a team, pick up a few skills, and flex your creativity. Our next show, Glitterus, is a hero's journey featuring 5 elemental mystics on a quest to rescue enchanted dragon's eggs. In harmony with the elemental nature of this magical story, the designs pull heavily from tarot imagery and traditional fairy tale motifs. There's a hint of heavy metal and a touch of disco in there as well, bringing the rock opera glitter to Glitterus. The world of Glitterus draws inspiration from less likely sources as silent screen, classical iconography, 1990 neo-noir thrillers. With all detail and almost 30 costumes to produce over the next 2 months, we sure could use your help. Beginning with the cast measurement open house this weekend and continuing through the production itself, going strong to post-show reorganization, there's a role on the costume team perfect for you. We're looking for help with hand sewing, sculpture, cleaning, organization, painting, and more. To get started, talk to me tonight or head to baltimorerockopera.org/letsrock. Some volunteer happens here at Bros HQ on Greenmount Avenue. Take projects available. Costumes. With us, you'd all be naked.
When I was
Who wants to step up into the director role?
There it is.
So AG couldn't be here tonight, but is looking for machine sewists, pattern crafters, hand sewists, painters, admin help, and more. Lots of flexible options to be involved. And up next is Lit with Ellen.
So you saw one lit example from the creatures team with the egg, but I just want to point out that we have lots of lit stuff and lots of shows. This is, for example, from 2017's Terrible Secret of Lunastis, because that a lot of different stuff in one scene. So if the sets want some lights, the crevices of that mountain has LED strips behind it that was tied into the lighting system, so we could change the color of that with it. All of the costumes, the crew had little light up wrist things. The sensor has multicolor LEDs and it spins like a wand, etc. So that's the kind of stuff we do, is help the other departments and the other designers with their stuff. Sometimes it's self-contained, sometimes it's like, hey, costumes want some light up things. You can go to the next slide. Yeah. So basically, as the designers come to me with their vision of what they need lit, I will match that up with volunteers who either have the skills to do the task or want to learn new skills, in which case I'll work with you to teach you those skills. And then we integrate them at the end. So if the props department says, hey, we want the top of that scepter to light up, then we'll work on the lights, they'll make the scepter, and then when everything comes together just a little before the show. Probably not going to have any big builds. It'll be take-home projects or meet here and work at HQ in small groups on things, unless a department comes up with this 10 lit costumes. We'll probably have a build night and crank them all out. But otherwise, it's going to be little ones and twos and things here and there. And I don't know what any of these projects are yet. So we always run a little behind everyone else. You can go to the next slide now. But the process is join the lit channel on Slack or message me. As we get projects in, I'll post them there, and people can kind of match up with the projects they want. I'll get the materials. I'll help you through working with the designer to get things going as much or as little as needed. And then work on it, and then at the end we put it all together and make the show even better than it's going to be anyway.
Oh. It's all about that extra.
Yeah, a little bit extra.
Hell yeah.
And we have been known to have lit projects come in like a couple days before opening, and sometimes the answer is no, and sometimes the answer is, oh yeah, we can add a little bling there.
Good for me to know.
And Leslie, so that's me, Alan Schmidt, in the lit captain. Find me on Slack or email. And if you're at all interested, whether you think you have the skills or not, we'll help teach you some stuff and make some projects. And that's it.
Thank you, Alan.
Thanks, Al.
Is Sherry here from WHAM?
Sherry's here now.
I think Sherry's at home working on some awesome wigs, hair, and makeup designs, and we'll share those with us in the future. Front of house is next. Yay, front of house.
Wait.
Kayla
I
here.
think we have Kayla here.
And we started off so strong. Kayla's at home working on really awesome front of house designs. And we'll get back to us very soon with those.
What's front of house?
Front of house. This is where. Oh wait, is there another slide? I have. Jordan is our front of house captain, who's also not here.
Ah, we wasted a cheer.
They're all like.
Tired.
So front of house is sort of does all of the ticketing and things for the show. It's nice because it's sort of the first people that the guests will encounter when they arrive, so it can set the tone. They manage ticketing, check-in, and concessions. And as we get closer to the show, we'll need ticket takers, popcorn sellers, ushers, and people like that to volunteer. It's sort of a nice, low commitment role if you know anyone who just wants to show up for a night or two. Next slide, Erin. Our bar captain is Reagan, who is here.
Hi, I'm Reagan.
Hi. Hi, Reagan.
Hi, Reagan.
I just found out that I was going to do a proposal, so here it is.
Woo!
I'm picturing opalescent tablecloths, sort of like My Little Pony meets sex shop, Maybe some inflated balloons covered with glitter to mimic the eggs of the show. So just have like 5 balloons around the bar area, because I'm only bar, so I can only control my area. We're featuring a sparkly mead. Is that right, Erin? And then I'll have some other beverages, and I'm imagining whoever is working the bar, maybe I'll convince them to put on sparkly paint. That's it. Thank you.
Next up is audio and lighting with Chris and Brent.
Chris and Brent.
Hi, I'm Chris and Brent.
Then who's that guy?
Hi, I'm also Chris and Brent. And we're audio and lighting.
Now I trust you.
So I know audio. We need a sound designer. So I know Sabi, you've done that in the past, and basically, if you like making sounds and noises and recording them, we have a job for you.
Boy, howdy.
But yeah, our crew makes the speakers sound good and the microphones not do too many wacky things, and makes the band sound killer in the space. So we have a lead technician, we have an A2, an assistant technician. Carlos is helping with installing everything, so Carlos will be there helping with all that stuff. But we're always happy to have more hands for load in, and if you want to stick around for the shows and learn a couple things, there's always plenty to learn when it comes to audio. Things like wireless management, or even just how to handle microphones and cleaning and setting up. There's a lot that goes into preparing them for equipping the actors and making the show happen and making it sound awesome. So.
Hell yeah.
Hey, you like being on ladders? Want to be up on a ladder real high? Yeah, let's be up on ladders and hang shit.
Woo!
Yeah, of course.
We're also looking for a projectionist and projection designer. Semi-related. Can you go to the next slide? Oh, did we skip a slide? We also need a street team, a stage crew, and tech people. Yay!
What does that mean? What do they do?
What's the street team?
The street team helps us with marketing. They do flyers and stuff around the city. We have sort of a street team captain who will sort of coordinate and tell you where to go and things like that. Stage crew, you know, makes shows happen. Tech, who knows? Okay, do you want to go to the next one now? If you're interested in volunteering for anything, we ask that you go to baltimorerockopera.org/letsrock. On there, you can sign up for the department you're interested in, and then we'll make sure to get you all of the communications for that. You can also go to You can go to Slack and join the channels that are interesting to you. We have a Glitterus Creatures channel, so if you're interested in working with Justin, you can get information there. And some of our contact information is up there. Did we make a rock opera?
Let's rock. Do you have questions? Anybody have questions?
Is there going to be a place where the slide and all of the emails on the slides are accessible?
What's the best place
in the drive.
for a
Good
inquiring
question.
mind to find these informations, Megan? Good question.
I saw them on the drive.
They are. It's on the Google Drive.
So basically what we're trying to get people to do is sign up for is to fill out that form, that Let's Rock. And what that's going to do is you'll get involved, you'll get email notifications from that point of any of the departments that you were interested in. That's number one. But also if you're on one of those lists, you get view access to the entire production folder with like every bit of material that is involved in this show. So that is definitely our number one. We want people to do that, baltimorerockopera.org/letsrock. And then beyond that, yes, this will all be, it's already all online on YouTube, but it'll all be places on the internet.
Okay, so just to clarify, right now, if anybody wants to volunteer, BaltimoreRockOpera.org/Let's Rock
Do that.
is the one bit of information you need to take away from this.
That is the number one.
And then that will give you access to all of the other information.
Yep, that is the best place to start. Yep. We'll leave this slide up there.
But is the floater email on the Bros website too? The
Yep.
floater newsletter?
Yep, so if you
Okay.
go to Get Involved, there's a sign up there for No Floaters, which is the weekly newsletter. Definitely recommend that anybody does that. And then finally, you can also go to, we should probably put that on there. The join Slack link is BaltimoreRockOpera.org/bro/Slack. So we'll put all that stuff up. In fact, we'll probably put them over on this whiteboard over here, and I'll probably edit this slide right now. So we're good to go. So I'm going to leave this slide up. If you're on the YouTube, thanks for joining. We're going to end the stream now. Thank you all for being here.